Chanson d'amour. I return with my heart. You with your mind, forgetting your heart. Then a song talks to me in difficult times, and repeats these words to me. It is certainly fear of loving, fear is in the heart, but I am not afraid. And this is your fear. That fear kills. And then that song comes back and talks to me.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wardal TV Show. Thank you so much for your constant attention everywhere. So, in this episode, as I announced already, we have two extraordinary guests, young, no discrimination, but of course young is okay. Okay, very young, very talented, multi-awarded already, and so I will show you a trailer of a amazing film that is directed by Natalie Camou, and we have also as Natalie Camou too, famous movie director, Jason Zavaleta. Okay, so we will start to welcome the two guests, and then we proceed with our program. So this is our two guests now, okay? Ahlan wa sahlan, bienvenidos, bienvenue, as you like, any language you know the matter. First, because unfortunately the time is almost limited, I like to show the trailer of Louise, the great film, the great film of Natalie Camou, that when I watched it, I was really so happy, really, and this happened very rarely, unfortunately, because we are very critical people, of course, in our field, means theater, cinema, etc. So I will proceed now to show the trailer of Luis, and then questions, project together, Jason Zavaleta with Natalie Camou. They have a very worldwide project, very, very important. Okay, so now the trailer, and then we will, okay, so this is fantastic. We are ready to show the trailer, and So
I have to apologize. Judith hasn't been herself lately.
Mom? I hope I die after I fall in love.
Louis! Come help me. Let me see.
I want Marie to do it. Marie!
I'm out of money. I'm out of my life.
There's something wrong now.
So, applauses,
I have to apologize.
and then we can start with the questions. Okay. So, this is Louise, the trailer, and I like to ask to Natalie, as I told you, in my family, I had, of course this is private, not public, but okay, a big tragedy as the tragedy of Louise. So, as I wrote to you, for me, it's my opinion, my personal experiences doesn't regard anyone, okay? And I don't like personal experience, always I look for the experience of other people, not my experience first, okay? Because for me, the other people are important, not me, okay? Because me, I am one. Also, I am important, okay, as a human being, but okay. So, by your film, I learned something very useful for me, and not only for me, for millions of people, because unfortunately we have a lot of tragedies in our families, and of course the tragedy of Louise is really very deep. And of course, I don't want to repeat the congratulations to you because the film is so delicate, is absolutely art. So I like to ask you, first question that I put over there, and this is, these types of dramas told in Louise hurt the child's soul and condition to the choice in love for the infant who has become an adult. What are the ways to overcome such dramas if this way exists? So this is the first question to you.
Yes, I really appreciate this question. One of the reasons why I wanted to tell the story of Louise is because my father's mother committed suicide on my uncle's birthday. And I thought it was really interesting, this prospect and dilemma of when a parent gets tunnel vision, they get so fixated on their own pain that they aren't able to see how their actions might influence those around them, how they can lose their grasp on reality and become just so fixated on how they can stop that pain and doing whatever it is that they need to do, stopping that pain, thinking perhaps even diluting their perception into thinking that it's the right thing, that maybe others will be better off for this act which they commit. And I wanted to show in this film how nobody ever talks about the pain that they're experiencing, yet in every single scene you can really feel the different types of loneliness festering in every character's storyline. And I believe that the way to overcome such dramas as they exist in our lives is by creating dialogue, by meeting those in our life who are closest to us naked. And I know it's the most terrifying thing to be so vulnerable, but I think really when you shut the door on that vulnerability or intimacy or honesty and truth, that really creates an emotional trauma that can take decades to heal, if it does get healed and addressed.
Definitely. So I focus about the point of honesty. For me, this is the most important, honesty. Among means ourselves first. Okay? And then with the people. So honesty. Honesty because often people that got dramas start to play. Okay? And this is, I don't want to express bad judgment, that this could be very, very, very dangerous. Okay? So this means never to solve anything. Zero. Okay? So first, we must have, I use this kind of, tense in the verb. We must have courage, okay? Any drama, because, unfortunately we have happiness, we have a big drama, tragedies, we have everything in the life. Everything, everybody. No exception. Okay, so this is for everybody, of course. So first is to be honest, to remove step by step, of course, the drama by dialogue, of course. Dialogue, as you said, honesty and dialogue among ourselves and with the people, with the right people. But first, I think, is ourselves. Because if we start to choose the wrong people, it's finished the matter. So now I continue with the second question, and what do you think about what I said?
No, I mean, I think, one of the reasons why I was interested in studying this film around the Edwardian era, which was right on the heels of the Victorian era, is because I felt that this period of time was so tragic insofar that around us we were surrounded with the delicacy. We were surrounded with the delicacy of detail, like such great attention to detail and extravagance. And you can feel in these homes like the craftsmanship and how important every light fixture, every little cranny of a doorway was in the expression of refinery. And I thought, even in the clothing, there was such attention to lace and embroidery, as that we really quickly dissipated in the 1920s as far as what women were wearing. And I wanted to juxtapose this great attention to detail against, at the very same time, as far as women's expression was concerned, it wasn't really permitted. So many women, if they expressed themselves freely, were considered hysterics, and they would be met with electroshock therapy.
Right.
And it's devastating. And for us, in doing this research with my actress who plays her mother had been subjected to electroshock therapy for her quote-unquote hysterics. And that was much later than when this film is set, and yet it was more prevalent in this time period for women to be punished, their self-expression to be punished with a very violent form of therapy.
Right.
And so when you say this, to have the courage, of course. And I wanted to exaggerate, because I think it's still prevalent today where we're silent. And yet, in many ways, we've made so much progress in the avenues of accepting self-expression, especially from women. There are still, great disgraces.
But I have to say also for men, means for everybody, because for women definitely, but also for men, because anyway, men and women are connected. So you is need to educate men too, especially, or anyway, strongly, and women, both. of course, the women are penalized, we know, okay, until now. And so, but also the men must be educated, must be, you know, to have the dialogue with between women and between women and men and between men and men. Okay, because otherwise we can't. Because if there is some person that is not honest, or no courage, or hypocritical is in English, I think, etc., etc. We okay. What Jason think about this topic?
I mean, in what you said, that, I mean, courage and honesty don't have a gender affiliation.
Right.
Right. Regardless of gender, non-binary, queer, anything, like, you can be an honest and courageous human being, and that's what counts
Absolutely,
towards creating
because,
dialogue that will heal families and heal trauma. So
yes.
it's about generating that honesty,
right,
and courage, regardless of
because
how you identify.
Yes, because I think this is the matter, and of course, if we observe that a gender is penalized, we have to provide to with the right instrument to save a gender of a category, etc. But of course, concerning the human being, the dialogue between genders, any kind of genders. Okay, so I before to ask the following questions, I like to speak about your important project that you have together. What is Natalie, you like to speak first about your common project, and then Jason?
Sure. Actually, you know what? I think you should introduce it. Jason hired
Fantastic.
me on the project.
Well,
Fantastic.
We've talked about this, I think, on the show previously, actually. So, for some time now, I've been working with Princess Elettra Marconi regarding some work on her father. And initially, there was going to be a biopic that was going to be narrative and cover his life in a documentary piece. And many years ago, I was going to be doing both of them. And recently, in discovering and learning more about Natalie's work and where her passion lies, and her amazing ability to discover a character and find story and uncover the humanity of someone, I asked Natalie to come on to direct the documentary on Guglielmo Marconi. So she's going to be stepping into the role of director in the documentary piece, and so she's been doing the research and starting to know him, and we'll be visiting Princess Marconi soon to start filming as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this, of course, is so important. Of course, is worldwide important, because we know that we, thanks to Guglielmo Marconi, we live in the era of wireless. Okay, so it's concerning us straight, definitely not metaphorical way, other. You know, that Marconi we have, because he, of course, everybody know that was the inventor of the radio, telegraph. He saved a lot of lives in the, you know, in Titanic, etc., by telegraph, etc., and he invented the wireless. So this is really extremely useful for all the people. And so now I will go to the following questions. And that will be like that. So, perfect. So, certainly, the film Louise makes us reflect on the great family tragedy which millions of people suffer during childhood, and therefore helps to understand the choices of wrong or right life path in each of us. Okay, my personal opinion is that if our adult life choices are conditioned by the obsessive presence of dramas suffered in childhood. They provide those around us with an endless chain of dramas. It is said in psychology that only a shock can resolve past trauma, such as catharsis. Do you believe it? What about this? You spoke already about it, almost, yes.
Yeah, I think for me, I think this is really interesting, the concept that that a shock would be able to resolve past trauma. I think for me, I grew up experiencing a tricky childhood where I was experiencing firsthand the deep depression and self-destruction of my mother, who was a single-parent mother. And it was just her and I who lived alone in our home. And it was really, I took it very personally as a child. I felt responsible.
Of course.
And for me, that was a very traumatic assault on my innocence and on my childhood, and something that I carried with me for a very long time. And when I consider this question, I think about what happened in college after I left, after I was on my own, living on my own as an adult in a big city, and I experienced sexual assault. And so for me, when I saw this question that you had sent to me by email, I thought, okay, I had this trauma as a child, this great trauma that was a huge burden on me. And then I experienced a great shock of sexual assault at the hand of someone close to me, someone who I trusted. And I emotionally crumbled. And so when I think and consider this question, I couldn't disagree more. I think that for me, as dictated by my personal experience, that love and compassion is what can resolve a past trauma. Someone holding my hands and looking into my eyes and telling me it's okay to be feeling what I'm feeling, whatever it is that I'm feeling, and to help me to focus on my breath, that my breath and what's here is real. What's here that I can see with my own two eyes and touch with my hands, that is what is real. And that for me was such a profound help in helping me to recover from past traumas and recent traumas. I'm not sure if a shock can resolve a past trauma.
Okay, very interesting. Of course, if a person never find after drama, after tragedy, after shock, love, what the person you think he have to do? There is hope or not?
Oh, jeez.
It has happened that a person can't find love after drama. So what?
I think that for me, what I've realized is that even in my most complicated relationship, which is my relationship with my mother, there is a great deal of love there. And that it was just riddled and marred in self-hatred. And so the love felt like it was getting more carbon dioxide than oxygen. And it took me accepting her and however it is that she loves me as a form of love.
Yes.
I think the interpretation of love is in the eye of the beholder, in the same way that beauty...
But this is about your mother. I speak about love, not about your parents. Okay, so because me, I had this experience with my father, and not with my mother. With my mother was completely fine, but with my father it was complicated, very complicated. But fortunately, me too, I understood him. Okay, but then about love experiences, my personal love experiences, means etc. Means the matter is love exists. Period. Okay, so if somebody fortunately meet a right person, okay, is a chance for everybody. If not, doesn't matter. Love exists. Finished. Means because if, for example, me, I didn't meet the right person, could be I use a mind, okay, in the matter of heart. This is not, but maybe I was wrong to choose the person, or the person is wrong. So, but this is not so important, because anyway, love exists. Love, we can find love everywhere, right? So this is, what do you think, Jason, about that?
Love is everywhere. Love is the unlimited possibility that allows us to tap into each other and into the world and to the humanity that we share.
Right.
So we can access it whenever we want, through ourselves or through another.
Right.
And it doesn't have to
So
be...
the same opinion, Maya, is the same. You agree with me?
I agree with that. We can.
And you too.
I
Yes.
agree with both of you in that way.
Yes.
That
Yes.
it's the love.
So we are on the same
Accepting the
page,
love.
completely in the same page, but a million of people, they think different from us. Okay, but they are, it means everybody can think
And
about
we can love them too.
And they can, we can love them too, right?
I think there's something that comes up for me that's about, like, I remember when I was recovering from the trauma of being raped, and I remember not being able to look at myself in the mirror. I didn't feel worthy of my own gaze. I didn't feel worthy of love. I felt so small and alone and in a type of darkness that felt never ending.
Of course.
And I think, though, that there was a certain point at which I think it's like flies or like animals or even humans, we gravitate toward the light. It's in our human instinct. We can't help but gravitate to where there is light. And I think eventually, for me, love is a type of light. And if it's
light.
If it's like finding myself in a meadow surrounded by flowers or trees, that is a kind of love. That is a kind of physical intimacy with the world.
Yes,
around
with
me.
the universe, with the people, with the animals, with flowers, with this is, fortunately, we have this. So, doesn't matter, our personal relation with the people. Means human being. We, as we said, we found love everywhere. Of course, we need to help person, that was involved in big drama, to help, really to help when it's possible. Sometimes no help is better than help, Yes, so we have to be careful about that, etc., and let the people free, especially free to do everything they want, okay? Because this is a freedom first, this is a freedom, okay? Then, when it's possible, of course, we need to help people, especially us, that we suffer some kind of drama, similar drama too, so we know, means we start to know, we know that never we know. But we start to know, and we have to follow, the knowledge means to try to know more and dialogue, as you said. So, the time is gone, but we spoke about so important things, so I think this was a great contribution to our spectators, and I hope really deeply to meet you again to continue this kind of topics. So thank you now for your great participation.
Thank you.
And we are friends, very close friends. It means I met Jason many years ago because it was in United Nations. I watched his great documentary, and then we make things together. And recently I met Natalie, but we immediately become friends. And then I saw her film, so my love was without limit for Jason and Natalie. So thank you so much again, and bye bye.
Bye
Thank
for
you
now.
for your attention.